right, it's time for part 4, the final part of Unit 3, and this time we're going to get into paths and then how to type on a path. Now, I'm not going to get in this super in depth. If you're taking a multimedia course where you're going to be using a lot of vector artwork, you're going to be using paths a lot. I don't use them a ton in Photoshop, but I do want you to at least be aware of them. So let's get to it. The most common thing used for drawing paths is the pen tool. So over here, if you press P, you can access the pen tool. The pen tool can also draw shapes. So I could set my pen tool, for instance, to draw shapes. And the way the pen tool works is that you click and then let go and move your mouse, and then click and then let go and move your mouse. And as you do, it fills in that area with color, based on whatever you have this set to up here. So I have a fill and I have a stroke, so it's putting them both on there. I don't know why my stroke just continues to stay on regardless of what I do, but anyway, so there it is, okay? That's if you're drawing a shape. But the pen tool works the same way even if you're drawing a path. So let me delete this. If you're drawing a path, it will not be filled in with anything because paths are, by their nature, invisible. We don't actually see the path. We do when we're clicked on specific layers that have paths. For instance, when you click on your ellipse tool, you know how you see that line or your ellipse shape? That's the path around the shape. So like a shape has a path and a shape, or if you don't want it to have any color in there and you just want to be able to use it to attach things to, you can draw just simply a path, which is what we're doing here. So I'm going to click on my silhouette layer because I don't want to get stuck in this clipping mask up here. I'm going to take my pen tool and I'm going to click right here. Say I want to go along this edge. I'm going to click and then let go and then move my mouse and then scoot over a little bit and click again and click again and click again, and you just kind of want to follow the edge. And you're basically creating a path that you can then attach text to. Now, I will caution you, good users of the pen tool do a lot more than just click, 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 like dot to dot. Good users of the pen tool click and drag to create curves. But we're not going to get into that super in-depth in this class. Once you finish drawing with the pen tool, press the escape key, and that creates the path, and then you can add things to the path. Now, let me go ahead and show you how you would create a path if you wanted to use the more refined, sophisticated method. So I would click to start a new path, and then the way I refer to it to students is try to find like the other side of a curve, or the other side of the rainbow is what I say in class. So like down here would be the other side of this little rainbow. It's not a very big rainbow. And then when I click for this one, I'm not letting go. So I still have my mouse button pushed and I'm pulling. See this little thing? Those are little handles. I call those my little seesaw handles. They allow me to change based on if I pull this way or based on whether I pull up and down, the way that that angles. See? So like that right there kind of follows that angle. Now I ignore the seesaw. Now I'm going from this point to the other side of my rainbow. So I'm going to click over here and not let go. And then here I can try to adjust my rainbow as well. Okay. And this is where it gets confusing because, and then I would come over here and I would continue on and so forth. And then I can hit escape and I'm done. So that's not perfect. And remember before I talked about how you can change the points on your shapes? Well, you can use that same white direct selection arrow to change the points on a path. So now I can go grab a hold of this little handle here that wasn't in the right place, and I can fix it with that direct selection arrow. So it also allows me to edit paths, okay? Now, once you have a path, again, a path's not real. If I were to print this, there'd be nothing there. Then I can attach things to the path. Now, in Photoshop, here's what that looks like. I'll attach to this path over her nose. When you grab your type tool, I always tell people to be on left because otherwise it's confusing. So you're going to attach to the left side of the path and you're going to set it on left. If you wanted to attach to the center of the path, click center, but click in the middle of the path. Okay? So I usually stick with left. All right, so let's say I go over here and I'm going to pick a font and then I'm on left, so I'm going to click on the left of this path. You probably can't see it very well, but my mouse makes like it's this up and down thing, but then there's a line on it. Do you see that? That's really hard to see. See, there's a up and down thing, and then there's a line right there on the path. And then I click, and then you can see how big my font's going to be. So decide whether or not your font is too big or too small. And then you start typing your words. I don't know what I just did there. Okay. Oh, I clicked off the path somehow. I always hate when this happens. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. Paths are all day long confusing. Okay, let's hit escape. Oh, I've got my wrong type tool here. Horizontal type tool. Click on the end of the path. There it is. Okay, here we go. Type words. Now, we can't see it because I'm behind my girl. So I'm going to hit OK and move this up here so I can actually see it. And there's my words. Okay, let me triple click here and change the color to something we can actually see. All right. And so you can see, like, it's not the most ideal thing in here. Later on, we're going to get into typography and how you can change where these words break and so forth. But I just wanted you to see how that works. So I'm going to hit OK here. I'm going to delete this. So that one's gone. But let me take my hand tool and get over here to this other path. Now, if a path disappears, sometimes you can bring it back if you go to the Paths panel. So see here where this says Work Path? I can click on it, and this path came back up. And now I can take my type tool, click here on the end, and type my words. Okay, now I went too far over there. We can't see it. I'm going to hit check mark and scoot it up. There it is. Now I can't grab a hold of everything, so if you're typing on a path and not everything fits, press Control A to select all. That selects even the words you can't see that you typed. And then when you pull this in, you can move all of them. So, well, this is fun. There we go. Okay. Now, what we're going to put for our example here is the word focus. So I'm going to select all here, and instead of that, I'm going to put focus. And then I'm going to make this decent size to fit this path. Okay. Now, let's zoom out. Control 0. Oh, gosh, I hate the way that fits on there. And you can try different fonts. You know, different fonts may look better than others, or I could adjust that path, you know, if I don't like that path. Okay, so we'll say focus and pick a color that looks okay with your color scheme. So I'm going to actually go back to this blue over here. So I'm going to highlight my letters, click here, come down and click on my shape, that's blue. And then if you want to, you could add a layer style to focus, you know, add a bevel if you wanted to, or something that looks cool. Totally up to you. Okay. And again, I can take this white arrow tool and click on my path if I wanted to, and then maybe try to fix some of this to try to adjust where these letters are hitting. And you can play around with that. It's because I didn't use those smooth curves, and so it hits those little dots and it just kind of hops right over. Okay. And again, later on, we'll get into a typography unit. We'll modify the distance between letters, but that's just not yet. Okay, then we're going to add one more path. I'll add the other path in Photopea just so you can see it in the other program. So here I'm in Photopea. Over here, I'm going to go across here, and I'm going to say, so we had focus, and then we're going to say dreams. Like if you focus, you can reach your dreams, right? All right, so I'm going to click up here on the ski silhouette layer just because it's not in a clipping mask and it's up high. And then I'm going to grab my pen tool. Make sure I'm drawing a path, not a shape, right? So just a path. Okay, and then you're going to start creating your path. Again, you don't see things as well in Photopea, so it's a little bit frustrating because you don't get a lot of cues, right? All right, so I'm going to click one time here. Oh, I've already clicked over here apparently. Hold on. If you've already made paths, by the way, you can go to the Paths panel and you can delete paths. You just hit the trash can on any paths that are already in there. So that Paths panel hangs out with the Layers panel in both programs. And if it just won't go away and you don't need it, then you can delete those paths. But okay, I've got my pen tool. I'm going to click one time, and then I'm going to come to the other side of my rainbow, and I'm going to click. Now that connects them, but I haven't let go. So I'm going to drag until this is about the right angle. There, that looks pretty good, right? All right, I'm going to hit escape. That gets that handle off of there. And then now immediately I'm going to go to my type tool. Here's the problem. Photo P does not give you a little thing with a little sideways thing so that you know you're hitting that line. So sometimes it's hard to hit the line. Like you've got to exactly touch the line for this to work. Now I don't remember what size that other one was, but I'm going to make my size not too big because I can always make it bigger, but I don't want it to like disappear. Okay, now here we go. I've got my type tool. Here, I'm going to go off my move tool and back to my type tool just so I know it's like ready for me. Okay, and then I'm going to come on here and try to click right on that line. Again, make sure you're on left because we're on the left of the line. There we go. And I did it. It's on there. Okay, dreams. Okay, and now I can, highlight these, make my font bigger, make it fit on there or whatever. Choose whatever font that you want here. I would use the same font in both places, but okay, so Control-0, we got that one there, and you can see I have my work path and I have my dreams. If your path won't go away, like you're tired of looking at it, just click down here in the gray space when you're not on that layer, and it'll make that path like disappear so you don't have to see it. Because sometimes, like, for some reason, like, two paths are like showing up over there, and they're driving me nuts because I don't want to look at them. So I just click off of them. Don't delete them, though, or I won't be able to have my words over there. So let me go ahead and add this one in Photo P. I'll draw on the glasses here. So I'm going to, again, let me click on my silhouette layer because that seems like a safe layer to be on. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and then I'll click here. I'm clicking and dragging and not letting go, making a curve a little bit. And then I'll come over here. I'm clicking and dragging and not letting go. And then I'll come over here and I'm clicking, dragging, and not letting go. I'm just going to pull it, right? Okay, then escape. Okay, then if you need to, come over here, go to that direct select tool, and then you can click on these little guys, and then you still have access to their little handles. So if you need to adjust them, go ahead and adjust them, okay? Then you can make them look smoother or whatever. Just make sure you click right on those little dots. And that's the beginning dot. All I can do is move that one around, but okay. All right, so now that I've got that in there, now I'm ready to add my text. So I'm going to take my type tool. I'll click right on the end. I got it. Focus. Now I can't see it because it's behind her head, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Scoot it up. Can't tell if I'm up there or not. Get up there. You know you want to. There we go. Okay. There it is. And then, again, I need to make it match whatever size I had the other one, and I don't remember, so I'm going to go ahead and back out here for a second. I'm going to click back on Dreams and click in there. It is size 27, so click back on Focus, take my Type tool, get back in there. Oh, it's 27, so we match. That's good. Now, if you don't like that it's up on top of the glasses, it's not a big deal. The path is going to be the same regardless, but we can take our Move tool and we can scoot this down below the path. It just moves the path down. So not a big deal. Okay, see what I mean? How like there's paths everywhere looking at me right now, and if I come in here, there's like multiple paths lit up, so I can click off of them if I want to. Anyway, I go back to my silhouette because that'll make all those paths go away. So there we go. Focus, Dreams. We've got our text on there, and we've typed it on those paths. You can also use shapes as paths. So let me pop over to Photoshop for a second. And let me just draw a custom shape, and I'll just go find anything. This is a rabbit, but it's fine. Okay, so let me go up here at the top layer, and I'm just going to draw a rabbit. Okay, so I can use this. Now, I have to turn the fill and the stroke off. Actually, let me just draw that again while it's on path, because I'm drawing a shape, and I don't want to. Okay. So now we're drawing a path instead of shape. Here's my paths panel. You can see it. And I can take my type tool and then click. And wherever I click, remember, that's going to be the left side of this path. So if I click here, it should be on the left side. Unfortunately, and it looks like this one did it, sometimes they pop onto the inside of the path, which is what this one did. In Photoshop, that's not as hard to fix. In Photo P, it's just not worth trying, to be honest. But over here where you have your direct select and your path selection tools, if I switch, well, if I'm on my white arrow, I can do it. If I point to these words, I'm going to get that little arrow. I'm going to drag it this way, and I can flip it over to the other side of the path. So obviously I've got text problems here, so that doesn't make that great. I'd have to go in and probably use a smaller font because it's hitting that edge. But anyway, so you can do that. You can use shapes as the basis of a path, but sometimes those create problems in and of themselves. And I can take that white arrow tool and click on my path and still move around these little parts. But you've got lots of options there. As a beginner user, you're probably not going to want to use shapes as paths. I would just stick with simple pen tooled shapes for paths. So I'm going to go delete this layer. Just going to drag it to the trash can. And now it's gone. And I have not added my second words, but I will on here, and hopefully you have yours done as well. So anyway, but your finished project should look something like this. We have gone over lots of things, typing on paths, creating paths, brushes, clipping masks, and shapes. But this concludes Unit 3, and now you'll have an application project. And for this project, you get to use your own pictures. So stay tuned for those instructions.